Right, next up is Brett. Now, in all honesty, I don't actually know what Brett is doing tonight, so this could be anything from tragic to worse. Right, and unfortunately no one knows what he's doing, so it sounds like the worst could be a really good option.
Edgar Allan Poe.
That's one of 3 options you gave. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step aside and hopefully these curtains open up behind me because the automated system works well. And you should find Brett alone on stage. Everyone, round of applause, please.
Please say he's not going to be naked again.
For Brett. We need a moment. Oh my God, we need a moment. We're ready. Okay, round of applause for our next contestant, which is Brett, the lovely Barman.
That's why he looks so stressed out.
Oh, we're in a malfunction.
Oh, look out! What's happened?
Bloody hell!
What's that malfunction?
It is the uncle.
Who designed that?
Have you got a mic, Brett? You want one? Yeah. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought in the ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a cease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore. From a rare and radiant maiden who the made angel's name Lenore, nameless here, but evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came rapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and darkness gave no token, and the only word that spoken was whispered word Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber churning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard it tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what there is there, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stopped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least a bead its matey, nor its minute stopped or stady, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy and smiling, by the grave and silent decorum of the deep of the countenance of war. "Though that crest be shorn or shaven now," I said, "art shorn, O graven, ghastly grim and ancient raving wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Bretonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvel this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast above the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul on that one word he did outpour. Nothing further that he uttered, not a feather that he fluttered, so scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by replies so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is only stopping store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed faster, till he sold my burden till the dirges of his hope and melancholy burden bore of nevermore." But the raven, still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and busting door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to thinking, fancy unto fancy thinking, what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking. Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining with the lamplight glowing over, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight glowing over, she shall press. Ah, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfume from an unseen censer. Swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thank God hath lent thee, by these angels he has sent thee, respite, and a pet from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind of plant, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still with bird or devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed you here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly I implore, is there balm in Gilead, tell me I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul was so elated, within the distant Aden, it shall clasp a slain maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our side of parting, burned or bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. I leave no black plumes a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, grip my bust above the door. Take thy beat from out my heart and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore.
Oh, shit.
And the raven, never bleeding, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted, nevermore.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brett, the Barman dog. Bringing a little bit of culture to Club Zetland. The
We love culture.
Please bear with us a second. The judges seem to be repositioning themselves before we go to the judges for the scores.
Stage. Wombat. Can I please call certain wombats to stage, please?
And up strides a wombat. Excellent. Let's go to our judges for the score. For the Raven, a little bit of culture. We have a 7. Ooh, a little bit harsh. And Danny, score?
8.5.
You want to show that? 8.5 from Danny. So that leaves our gay lesbos at 16. See them cheer in the background. And Brett is currently at 15.5. I'm just going to step backstage with our...